Perfecto. Close some of these windows down, taking up space. This is not the Shaka Khan and Rufus song I want to play, but here we are. We're going to play it. No, oh, wait, here. This is the song I want. Okay. Tell me that you love me, yeah. Tell me something good. Tell me that you like it, yeah. Got no time is what you're going to say. I make you wish there was 48 hours to each day. Your problem is. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I am so excited. Wow, this got really big. I'm so excited that we are all here together. Thank y'all for spending time with Black Women for Wellness during our Wellness Wednesday sessions. We are still really providing you sessions and experiences to help you focus on your mental health and well-being. And so tonight, just in case you didn't see the flyer, that was like really large. Tonight is about food and mood. We are gathering some of our favorite chefs with our Sisters in Motion program to really do a deep dive into the correlation between the foods that we eat and what our bodies experience and how our moods are impacted by those foods and those food choices that we make. But before we get into all of the things, I just want us to check in with ourselves for a moment and see how we're feeling. Are you tired? Are you hungry? Are you happy? Why don't you toss in the chat how you are feeling this evening? I got excited and tired, feeling grateful, hot. Oh no, Stephanie, not hot. Feeling energized. Energy is good, Michelle. Thank you so much. We need all of it. Give it to us. I'm on the Stairmaster in the gym. Come on. We've got grateful and hungry. So, what I'm seeing is we've got a mix of feelings and energy happening this evening, and it is all good wherever you're at. We appreciate you all for providing us, for giving us your attention, and for just being in community with us. For those of you who are new to Black Women for Wellness as a nonprofit organization, we've been around for 25 years providing education and advocacy for Black women and girls. And what you are experiencing tonight is a part of our Sisters in Motion initiative. And this Sisters in Motion initiative allows us to focus on mind, body, and soul. So for you who are in the gym tonight, kudos to you. For y'all who are at home or in the car, wherever you are, definitely kudos to you for being with us tonight. Before we begin our session, I'm going to have us just take one moment. And y'all know we like for you to be super present because for some of us, we've had crazy busy days. Some of us were fooling around with kids before we hopped on these Zoom sessions, or maybe you just finished up work. And so I definitely want us to feel grounded and feel present within this moment because I'm pretty sure the universe has got some awesome, exciting things prepared for us. And I want us to just be surrendered and as present as possible. So wherever you are, no matter how comfortable, you can be, whether you're on a bed or standing up like our chefs or sitting down like me, what I want you to do for a moment is just simply close your eyes or soften that gaze and allow yourself to breathe and pay attention to that natural rhythm of your breath. Allow yourself to just simply feel what it's like to be present, not thinking about moments that happened prior to this moment, not thinking about what you have to do later, but just invite all of your being to be here with us right now. And right now, just give yourself grace and gratitude. Remind yourself that you are loved, that you are worthy, that in you resides every good and perfect thing. Remind yourself that you are perfect just as you are, and that your presence here on earth and your presence here in community is intentional. It is beautiful. It is sacred. Allow yourself to simply surrender to this moment, knowing that it is designed with your presence in mind. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes and be here with us, knowing that you being here with us is such a good decision on your health and wellness journey. With us tonight, I've got some very, very special people who I enjoy working with. I've got Rain, who is with us tonight. And I've also got Savannah, who is with us tonight. Rain is going to provide us with a really simple and cool activity to do. Usually we do a meditation before these events or before these sessions, but tonight we're going to do something a little special. So Rain, first of all, how are you doing over there?
I'm feeling amazing after that meditation. I feel so grounded, peaceful, happy to be here.
All of the things.
All of the things good.
Savannah, how are you doing over there?
I'm feeling the same. Glad to
Very,
be here.
very, very cool. Well, Rain, I'm going to turn it over to you to lead us into our next experience.
Thank you so much, Charity. So happy to be here. Thank you, Chef Noel and Chef Carmen, for being in space with us. We are so grateful for you and excited for what you have to offer. What I have for you all tonight is just a question. If you have a journal or a pen and paper, I suggest getting that out now. You're also welcome to use the Notes app on your phone or pull up a document on your computer. But as we all know, food is a very, very sticky topic. A lot of things come up when we talk and think about food. And I am curious about folks' relationship with food. How do you relate to food? How does it show up in your life? Maybe ancestrally as
Is it present for you too?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I think she froze.
Yeah, this happened last time.
Uh-oh. No worries. It is all good. So, what we want you all to do for the next 2 minutes is to jot down your current relationship with food. It could be anything from how you feel about meal prep to how you feel about going into the kitchen to cook to if you stay away from the kitchen because you are like, let me just grab and go. You can write down when you find yourself eating. Do you eat late at night? Do you like to eat early in the morning? You can even jot down the types of food that you eat or the feelings and emotions that come up when you make food choices. Do you see yourself grabbing for sweet treats when you're sad or when you're watching Queen Charlotte on Netflix because it gets you in your feelings. Let's take 2 minutes to describe our current relationship with food. All right. And our time will start right now.
48 hours to each day. Your problem is you ain't been loved. me that you love me, yeah. Tell me something good. Tell me that you like it, yeah. You ain't got no kind of feeling inside. I got something that sure enough set your stuff on fire. You refuse to put anything before your pride. What I got will knock your pride aside. Tell me something good.
I think Chef Carmen told us something good. She said she loves food. Um, all right. So I think that was our 2 minutes. Now, for those of y'all who have been in any of these sessions, y'all know we enjoy the collaboration between us and y'all. We are in community together. And so these are conversations that we get an opportunity to have. And so we're going to come back around to responses that you all have written down as it pertains to your relationship with food. But before we get into responses and being able to share and collaborate in community, we've got Savannah here who lovingly reminds us of these beautiful community agreements. And so, Savannah, it is on you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Charity, for the introduction. And thank you, and Rain's back. Yay. Go. And thank you, everyone, for being here in this space together. And as Charity was saying, this really is a huge community of people here who just want to share love and light and knowledge. And I know when I'm here together, I always feel it. And I'm sure that most of the people here, probably everybody also feels it. And as we're within this space together, we just want to take some time to make some community agreements together so that we're all on the same page about how we want to show up within this space and how we're going to put our love within this space. And there's certain ways we're going to do that. Number one, we're going to make sure that we are taking space and leaving space. So if you haven't heard me say that before, just making sure that for someone who likes to share a lot, we get really excited. Just being cognizant of that and making sure that we leave time for people who may not be as assertive to step into that time as we're moving in the space together. Number two, which I think is the most important thing, breaks when breaks, grabbing water if we need water. Maybe we're talking about food, we're getting hungry, we want to grab a snack, that's totally fine. Because we just want to prioritize our own wellness, our own well-being, and we might get to a point where we need to hop off, and that is also totally fine. We're sharing as they're sharing, just making sure that we stay on mute with our volume, because sometimes we come off and then we'll have sounds that peep through, and we just want to make sure that everyone in the space can hear what is being said as it's being said, but we want to hear from you. So drop your questions, your comments. You have a concern, like you can't hear us, please let us know. And then as we get into more of a formal question asking portion, feel free to come off mute when it's your turn. Just raise your hand. You're going to be dropping in the chat. Hey, I got something to say. I'm so excited for this session.
Very awesome. Thank you so much, Savannah. I think that froze too. I don't know what's in retrograde right now, but the internet is being really tricky. Well, I hope everyone got those community agreements. And now we are getting down to the very, very fun, amazing part. We have two amazing chefs with us tonight who are some of my favorites. For those of y'all who've been with Black Women for Wellness for a while, you know Chef Carmen. You have seen her, you have heard her. And those of you who have been in person with us before, you have even tasted her delicious cuisine. And so Chef Carmen is here with us tonight. And we also have the opportunity of having the amazing Miss Chef Noel with us, who is just a pure, graceful joy to experience in the kitchen. Both of them were definitely invited here for this particular experience because of their nutrition awareness and their personal journeys with health, and just their understanding between that correlation between food and mood. And so for tonight, definitely feel free to drop your questions in the chat, or you can send a message to me, Savannah, or Rain, because we want this to be a collaboration, but also any questions that you might want answers to in order to help your own personal journey and relationship with food. We want you to ask them. Don't leave this session with questions unanswered. I don't know that that'd be the best use of time. And so ask away, ask away, ask away. One of the first opportunities that we're going to give ourselves in community tonight is for us to share what our current relationship is with food. Definitely remembering that this is a safe and sacred space. Nothing that you share here is going to be shared amongst any other human being, because they're not here. And so, does anyone want to either drop in the chat or even come off mute and share what your current relationship is with food?
I'll go. I'm Felicia Richard.
Hi.
Hello. My relationship with food is I eat because it's necessary. Sometimes I care about having a meal that is healthy and conscious in choosing the foods that I decide to eat. Oftentimes, uh, it's it. Oh, oftentimes it's because I'm hungry. What is what oftentimes when I'm hungry, I try to figure out what is there to eat and what can I grab that is that I can find real fast. And time is often a factor in the choices and decisions that I make.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Would anyone else like to share their current relationship with food?
I'll
I'll
go.
go.
Michelle Taylor,
Uh-oh.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my current relationship with food is I see it as fuel for me and as medicine. I used to, many years ago, I noticed the food I was eating was making me very ill and sick, and I had to educate myself. And now I use fuel to heal my body. I mean, food to heal my body, to fuel myself, give me energy. And it has changed everything. I just see it part of my holistic journey. So I just wanted to share that food could either heal us or it could kill us. I mean, it's really like the extreme, but I learned the hard way after being sick for many years, and it was the food. So let it be your fuel, let it be your medicine. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that, Michelle. Miss Wilkerson, I see your hand up.
Yes. Sorry, I would have typed it, but I'm letting my phone charge. But I will be honest right now and transparent. You said we're in a safe space. I have a very love-hate relationship with food right now. I am an emotional and stress eater. And with this being the world that we live in right now, and National Gun Violence Awareness Month, and all of the shootings, I have not been eating the best. And so yeah, so when things are high anxiety, not only in my home but in around the world and the communities that I frequent, sometimes I just, I'm not good. I'll eat like 3 bags of Funyuns in a row just to, get the salt craving in my mouth and just, go to sleep. And, it's just it's one of those things when I feel good, I eat good. But when I feel bad, I eat bad.
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and for being so vulnerable and transparent. I appreciate that. Would anyone else like to share their current relationship with food? I see Joy put in the chat, my relationship with food is happy. My goal is to maintain a strong body, bones, and built muscles. Food helps me to rest this goal. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'll share my current relationship with food. Oh, it's a fun one. Um, reason being is because, so my background is in being a wellness chef. I love food. Absolutely, absolutely love it. All of the things about food and cooking are my jam. Here's the tricky part about that, though. I'm also like on this weight loss journey, and I've got this trainer and this nutritionist who have created all of these different meals that I should be eating and trying to help, get more protein in so that you can lose this amount of weight and blah, blah, blah. And that roller coaster has sent my mind in a tailspin that has made me consume foods where I'm like, I don't normally eat that. It's not my thing. And it's made me kind of feel like, blah. I actually don't want to consume those things because when I do, my body doesn't feel good. I don't even think that some of these foods are necessarily nasty. I'm just like, no, they don't work for me. And so when I when I eat for the result of weight loss, I'm not too excited about it because I end up making food choices that don't necessarily align with my philosophy about food. Um, and then when I'm just eating simply to fuel my body and for the long-term goals of like just vitality and feeling good, food is my jam. I absolutely love it. So, I haven't spoken to my nutritionist in probably a week and a half because I was like, girl, y'all wearing me out. Y'all wearing me out. That is not my thing. Y'all wearing me out. And then I was on vacation last week, and vacation eating is just tricky as hell. You get home and I have hard resets. And so absolutely love food, but I do understand the importance of listening to myself when it comes to what I believe the purpose of food is for, even as it pertains to health and wellness goals, even if I'm in conversation with trainers and nutritionists. It's like, hold on, I am not eating for abs. That is not my physical goal. I am not eating to be snatched. It's all right. I've had babies. We good. So that's my current relationship. Anybody else care to share? Going once. Well,
Just look in the chat, people are saying,
oh yeah, I see this one.
this one's longer.
Jessica Tillman. I love
Yes.
food, or maybe love hate food. So much about food can be overwhelming sometimes, especially cooking, from collecting ingredients, meal prep, and cleanup is the worst. I agree. You need 2 people in the kitchen for that. I worry about the quantity of ingredients, how much money I'm spending if I'm gaining weight, but then I eat and I feel great. And then I think about what I ate or didn't and feel bad. I treat myself with food, but also punish myself with food. Oh, this is like this is one of those I'm every woman. This that right there. This whole phrase right there. That is many of us, Jessica. Thank you for that. Wow. Very, very awesome. Thank y'all so much for sharing here in the comments. Listen, we're going to keep this conversation going and we are going to insert into this conversation two of my favorite people, Chef Noel and Chef Carmen. They've both been with us. Chef Carmen is one of those, y'all know she has a way of putting the truth out there straight up, no chaser. And we're going to get that tonight. And Chef Noel has a way of giving it to you in the most beautiful way ever with this gorgeous smile. And so, welcome to both of you. I'll give it over to Chef Carmen. Chef Carmen, can you let us know who you are and what you do and why you do it? And then Chef Noel, you can follow up with the same intro, and then we'll get into these questions.
Thanks, Charity. Hi, everyone. I see some familiar faces and I miss going out there and cooking in front of people and feeding it to you because I miss seeing that this is vegan face, like when it's so delicious, you know? But I am Carmen Carlsgad, Chef Carmen Carlsgad. I'm the chef and owner of Healthy Con Gusto. We started that about a year ago and we just want people to eat more plants. And I do it in a way that doesn't let to decolonize our plate. Like I eat the foods and plants that I like, because like what Charity was saying a little earlier, and I typed it in the chat, how you eat your food, no matter what it is, it's going to affect your mood and your body. Actually, you'll have a reaction to the food, to how you're eating it. If you're eating it and you're not welcoming that food in, you're putting a lot of resistance into that food, right? So your body's getting mixed messages big time. So whatever you eat it with love, and gratitude. So my background is that I was a teacher for 15 years, and I became a chef because I've been cooking my whole life, and I had my children, so I had to stop teaching the little ones to be home with my children. But that was just the perfect marriage of my two great loves with our teaching and food. Now I teach about food and I teach people to eat more plants and to, of course, not leave their culture, because that is so important for us. Food can provide us physical health, but it's such a big impact on our cultural health. And that's what I also do as a cultural health coach. I do have a degree. I'm putting my degree to good use because I have a degree in anthropology. And I never used it before. So this is awesome that I get to use my cultural anthropology and coach people to redefine food and eat guilt-free, because everything I heard today was exactly what I coach people to do, exactly what I teach people to do. And the first thing you ladies have got to do, other than put all the relationship with food, is before you even do that, I want you to think about your definition of food. Because if you're saying I'm eating something that's poison to me, ladies, and gentlemen, if any, that is not food. By definition, and I wrote it down because I always forget the exact words, but by definition, food is any substance that people or animals eat or drink, or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. If it's not that, if it doesn't fit that, then it's not food. You're eating something, but you're not eating food. Okay. And that is the biggest issue. I think if you start redefining what food is right now, today, then you'll always feel good about what you're eating, and you always feel good about after eating it too. So I think that's a good intro. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Really
great.
love that.
We're going to come back to that definition on just simply what the hell is food, because that's like, let's start there. But we're going to toss it over to Chef Noel. Oh, we can't hear you.
I was muted, you guys. Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yep.
Yay! Okay, so I want to go to the Church of Chef Carmen because she's on fire. I'm ready. But I'm Chef Noel. I was born and raised in Compton, California. As of right now, I currently reside in Ohio. Um, my background started in mental health, actually. I went to school, got my degree in psychology, was a social worker for about 14 years, still a social worker now, actually. And I worked with children, adults, individuals with dual diagnosis like substance abuse and alcoholism and things like that. What got me started into becoming a vegan chef actually happened back in 2010. So, back in 2010, I was diagnosed with systemic lupus. And of course, if anyone knows anything about lupus, it's an autoimmune disease and there's not a cure for it, unfortunately. And a lot of the individuals that are affected by lupus are Black and Brown women. Those are the individuals that are most likely to have lupus. So of course, my rheumatologist, gave me the whole spiel. There's no cure for it. You have to take all of these medications. Good luck. Okay, cool. I don't want to die, so I'll do what you tell me to do. No problem. And as I was taking these medications, I felt so much pain from it still. I had hair loss, weight gain, depression, insomnia. I was taking pills for another side effect and a pill for that side effect, and just the list goes on and on. So I started doing some research, and I just wanted to start to see, like, okay, what causes lupus flare-ups? And two of the big things were sugar and red meat. So I said, okay, well, let me see if I could stop the sugar and the red meat and see what happens. So anywho, fast forward, it led me into just going completely plant-based. So in 2012, I got a clean bill of health. I've been in remission from lupus for the last, what is it? Let's see, 2012. So 12 years is 11 years. I can't add, y'all. Math is not my strong point. But anyways, I've been lupus free since 2012, and I've kept my plant-based diet up and been teaching other people about it as well too. I never thought about being a chef. I never even thought about food in that sense because I grew up on a very rich Southern diet. My grandmother was one of my grandmothers were from Texas, and the other one was from Louisiana. So lots of rich stuff going on there. And it wasn't once a month or every holiday. It was a rich diet pretty much 5 days a week. So of course, going plant-based and being the only person in my family doing that, of course, it took a little redirecting and reteaching because a lot of individuals feel that being plant-based only means that we're eating lettuce and carrots. And like Chef Carmen said, there's so many plants and so many things that we can learn from and how to implement them into our meals where they're still tasty and they're still delicious and we're still not missing out on anything. Also, just understanding the relationship with food, as Chef Carmen mentioned, one of the key things that I like to ask myself is, am I eating for entertainment or am I eating for substance? Like, is this going to serve me or is this going to make me worse? And I kind of weigh the differences there. Another thing, I used to be addicted to popcorn and hot sauce. That was my favorite snack, just popcorn and hot sauce. That was my thing. And I was like, you know what can I do that I can do differently where I'm not just constantly eating these salty foods that aren't serving me? So I started looking at making my own kale chips or doing things with cauliflower and just being more mindful of how can I make something taste similar to that and still get what I like and still serve myself without feeling like I'm not missing out on anything. But that's my story.
Wow. Thank y'all so much. We have both Rain and Savannah. We're all going to dive into some questions. Also, those of y'all who are here in community with us, if you have any questions or additional comments to provide to add to the conversation, go ahead and drop those in the chat and we will be sure to look out and ask them for you. Savannah, I think, oh, I'm going to ask this first question. Can both of you describe the correlation between what we eat and how we feel? I know Chef Carmen briefly mentioned like the attitude or the energy that we present when we are eating, but in more specific terms of thinking about like our mental health and our overall well-being, what is that correlation between what we're putting in our bodies and how we feel?
I guess I can go first. So the correlation is someone mentioned earlier, when I eat better, I feel better. The correlation between food and mental health is having that moment. To me, this is my definition, is having that moment of like I said earlier, is this gonna make me feel better or is this gonna make me feel worse? Because a lot of that guilt does come from, let's say if you just lost a loved one and you eat all of this greasy food, fried food, and all of those things, that it feels better in that quick moment. But after you're done eating it, you have to ask yourself, like, okay, is this gonna make me feel tired? Is this gonna make me feel sluggish? Is this gonna make me feel more anxious? So sometimes when we eat more things that are things that we could see, things that we could pronounce, things that different vegetables and plants or whatever you decide to eat, like Chef Carmen mentioned about poison, but keeping things simple where you know exactly what you're putting into your body, that makes all of the difference. Some foods help us sleep better. Some foods help us perform better. Some foods help us have more energy. Some foods help us focus better. So even just choosing foods that are going to give us the best possible foundation for our day, to me, that's what food, mood, and correlation, how that all works together.
Thank you, Chef. No, that's exactly. I mean, what we always think about when we think about food, and that's why I started redefining food. That's the first thing I do with any student or any client, is to really define what food is, because and when we redefine food, there is no bad food. All the food that you're eating is good. It's food. That's literally what the definition says, to maintain life and sustain life and grow. So I had to do that back, a few years ago also, when I had been dieting for 20 years and there was just nothing was getting me back to health. I really, once I did that, once I redefined food, what food is for me, because the reason why the diet that your cousin's neighbor's auntie did doesn't work for you is because we're all different. We all have different needs and different vitamins, different minerals, different everything, right? And of course, culturally also we're different. So once I learned about my personal food intolerances, these are things that you can eat. For example, corn is one of them, right? It's a food. It's something that can give you sustenance. But I can't eat too much corn. It doesn't do well for, my body doesn't do well with it. Same with wheat, which is gluten, and same with soy. It affects my hormones too much. Dairy, not for me, right? So all these things, you have to redefine what food is for you. And when you stay away from those foods and you consume what it really is good for you, just you, then your mental health improves, because food, as we know, it's basically, it goes into your cells, and your cells is what makes you up. So it's only happy. If you only eat food, I promise you, you become like this happier, livelier person, because you're eating things that feed you, but also I prepare them, or I've learned to prepare, like Chef, in a way that it doesn't feel to me like it's diet food. Because that is not, I want to eat my dishes. I want to eat them guilt-free. So I learn about the ingredients in my food. Not just the front of the package that says, like so good for you. No. The back, that tiny print right there. What does it say? It says just coconut, organic coconut. That's it. That no preservative, no sugars, nothing. So this is food for me. Coconut is food for me. Right? So we have to redefine what it is and know your intolerances. And when you do those two things, then you're only eating the things that bring you health, that bring you life. And then, of course, you feel good. Now, the other thing that no one's telling you, because I'm here to tell you, is that thinking about food is so stressful. every single day, ladies. This is so huge for your mental health. You're waking up and you're like, what do I eat today? We've got to think about 3 meals a day. And those of us who have children, 3 meals plus 2 snacks, because they're very picky, right? And then we got to do that 7 times a week, 30 times a month, 12 times a year, for a grand total of 1,071 meals per year that we have to think about to be healthy, to be good, and the kids are gonna freaking like, right? So it's so exhausting. So give yourself a break. It's okay if you eat the same thing that you ate yesterday. It does not have to be different. Okay, it's okay if your child, well, this is a true story. This is okay if your child only eats pesto brown pasta for a week straight. They're still getting the nourishment they need. They just like it, right? So think about that. Give yourself that mental break of what to eat. Do a little list plan. I can show you over here. I don't know if you see my board over there. This board right here, it's magnets. So I don't have to think about what to eat. My kids come and change the magnets. What do we eat this week? I don't know, check the board. So make sure also, because we get that, what's for dinner, mom? Check the board, right? They already know where to find it. So it's, give yourself some tools to stop thinking about food or what to eat for just at least 1 meal. I'm not saying skip it. I'm just saying give yourself that break. Those are my major points for the food affecting your mental health there.
Thank you. I love that. I like that you were like, thinking about food is stressful, because I get stressed out all the time. And that's a lot of meals. When you break it down like that, I was like, okay, that's why. I was like, it's just like a time management thing. I have a question though for Chef Noelle from the chat.
Yes.
Joy Allison asked, can you share what is meant by a rich diet, and what was the rich diet you grew up on?
Oh, absolutely. All right. So barbecue brisket, mac and cheese, collard greens, banana pudding, peach cobbler, all kinds of cakes. Okay. When I mean rich diet, I'm not talking about in money, but I'm talking about, like, in love. Our family loves us in food, right? But at the same time, when I mean rich, I mean things are just really high in fat, high in sugar, high in everything that really isn't great. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy those things, but enjoying it so much, it can cause so much problems with your health, your digestive health, your cardiovascular health, all of that stuff. But when I say rich, I mean fat, sugar, all of that stuff.
Thank you. I grew up in the South, so I was like, this sounds like.
Right? You're like, it sounds kind of good. Like, is she doing it tonight? Like, okay.
Not exactly what you're talking about. The soul food, exactly, cover of the soul food. I was watching this new YouTube thing talking about, and I actually talked with Carmen about soul food too. And speaking of that too, like because for me, like soul food is like stuff that feeds your soul. It helps to enhance my mood. It makes me feel like comfy and like reminded of home. But as Chef Noelle was talking about, those foods can be very rich and have a lot of bad ingredients. So can y'all speak to some other types of foods or like that is good for enhancing our mood as well? That might be more healthy and like their relationships.
I always tell people, like, if you have that Southern food plate and you want to eat that plate, there's a couple of things to switch up. Just substitute real quick and you can still eat it. Maybe it won't be as thick of the crusting or as creamy, but you'll still get the purpose of it, the soul, right? So there are plenty of ways to make vegan mac and cheese. Plenty. There are plenty of ways to make the fried chicken with gluten-free flour, right? There are plenty of ways. Oh, the number one tip though, that canola oil. It's the thing that's gotta go. If you're using canola oil, because the things that, you substitute, you make those quick substitutes, change the oil. No more canola, no more, just the way to explain the oil. I think we've had a class on this is the easier it is to get out of the fruit, like olive oil. You squeeze it and you can see the oil coming out. corn. If you squeeze it, you're not seeing oil, right? So that it has to be more processed. So use an oil that is very it's like healthy for your heart. So whether it's coconut oil or avocado oil, those are the oils that I use to fry my food, because I eat fried foods, you know, because that brings me happiness. Deep fry it. It brings me happiness to eat it and to get that crunch. And if you're eating it and it's food, then that's okay, right? So just substituting, like I said, the gluten for me personally, the gluten-free flour and the dairy into like a cashew-based cheese sauce, and the greens, instead of bacon, I usually use smoked paprika. Like all of this stuff, you're still gonna get that perfect bite. Food is flavors and textures, right? That's what it is. And what you are craving sometimes is the flavor, sometimes you're craving the texture. So when you just recreate a dish with those same textures and flavors, you know, it's like, I make a cake or muffins, it's the same texture and flavor as a regular muffin. It's a muffin, you know, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a muffin, right?
Yep, I co-sign everything Chef Carmen said. Literally everything. Everything. Like, I don't eat chicken, but I love doing my fried oyster mushrooms. And I usually do that. And I don't even miss fried chicken. I'm not going to say, like, you know, people say like, oh, but it's cauliflower. It doesn't taste like chicken. I'm never going to say that. It's still fried cauliflower, but it gives you that texture and it gives you that taste. And you don't have to worry about the guilt that comes with it either. If you're good at seasoning, you're 90% of the way there already. To me, I tell people all the time when it comes to plant-based eating, if you're just season your food, just like you wouldn't eat chicken without seasoning, you wouldn't eat steak without seasoning. It's the same with vegetables. As long as you season your food, you're 90% there already.
I love that you talked about the cauliflower. I was actually talking about yesterday with the buffalo sauce, the cauliflower tossed in the buffalo sauce. Oh my gosh.
Right, you don't even miss
That
anything. You're
is
good.
Yep, you're safe. Mhm. So I know that Carmen touched a little bit on like ingredients like coconut oil, having things like olive oil instead of highly processed oils. But I was wondering if you both could touch on more like specific cooking techniques and ingredients that you recommend for promoting balanced mood and emotional health.
For me, I like to keep things simple. So honestly, unless I'm really trying to super throw down in the kitchen, I rarely use my stove, especially in the summertime. You know, you kind of want to just keep things nice and simple, cool, calm, and collected. So to me, I like to do things with very simple ingredients that doesn't cause a lot of issue, because as Chef Carmen said, when you're thinking about all of these things with cooking, meal planning, going to the grocery store and trying to get all of this stuff, that right there is a mood killer. I don't even want to eat anymore. Or I'm just going to grab something at McDonald's real quick because this is just too much for me. So one of the things I like to do is keep it simple. So that's one of my techniques, is just keeping things very simple, keeping my ingredient list very short and small, very quick and easy. I use things like my food processor a lot. I use my blender a lot, especially sometimes I know someone mentioned that they don't have a lot of time on their hands. So time management. If you want to do a smoothie bowl, something that you can throw quick in the processor. Meal prepping is the biggest thing. If you have a time on the weekend or whatever day you may be off, just set out maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of just meal prepping for the week, making batch meals, making things that are in bulk. So that way you have like one pot meals or things that are already put away, because most of your stress comes from preparation. So if you keep things simple, to me, I feel like that is one of the things that will help your mood for sure. And just having fun in the kitchen. I tell people all the time, there's not a cookie cutter way to cook or to do things your way. Your kitchen is your lab. This is where we experiment. This is where we explore, you know? So just having fun in the kitchen and making it into a moment where you don't feel like you're overwhelmed or feel like that it's work. If you have children, get them involved, especially with measurements and fractions and all of that stuff. It's a great way to learn a tool, learn math, learn reading skills with reading recipes, and it's good quality time. Those are ways to help boost our mood in the kitchen and getting things done, because that, other than the food part, is just the mood that you're already in helps set the tone of how you're going to feel with eating and creating.
my turn. Yes. So for me, I like to eat seasonal foods. I change my menu up to go with the seasons as well, because sometimes when you eat a grape in December, it's not the same when you eat a grape in June, July. It tastes different. So it affects your mood because you're just like, oh, this is not as good as I remember it, right? So eat seasonal foods, as fresh as you can. Keep it simple, like Chef said. But the tip that I wanted to give you for when you go to the store is like, and I already kind of said it earlier, is like check the ingredient list on the back of the package. Don't worry about the calories. Don't worry about the, nutrition facts. No, don't worry about any of that, because that doesn't matter as long as the ingredients are clean and pure and like that they're actually food. And that I think Chef also said earlier, like if you can pronounce it, then that's food, right? So, yeah, eat seasonal and check the labels for your food, because your health actually starts when you buy your food. That's where you're gonna be like, it's gonna make the big difference. If it's not in the house, you're not gonna eat it. Now, if you're getting up at 11 p.m. going to the 7-Eleven to get something, that's called an addiction, you know? So if you have to get out and go get it, that's an addiction. And you gotta like, maybe just talk to your nutritionist, a professional. Maybe there's something else underlying. There's some trauma that you have around that. But honestly, it starts when you buy it. And it takes time. Be kind to yourself when you go grab it and you read the ingredients and you're like, oh, but this is so good. It's my favorite, but no, I'm gonna put it back because I am deciding to be healthy today. Affirmations of health while you shop. Affirmations of health. Like I am in full control of my shopping list here. I am in full control of my health. I make the decisions. All of that is so great for that mental health. Even not this talk right here, you know, like it really is starts way in when you talk to yourself, redefining food and talking to yourself with love about what you want this food to be and what you want to buy and what you're going to make. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Love that. That was perfect. So the chat and I personally would like to have some more tips. So people are asking for recommendations on spices and how to use different seasonings. So I don't know if y'all have maybe 3 spices that you'd recommend us buying for like a novice person just getting into this world, and like 3 different nutrient dense, whether it be like a protein or something plant-based that we can use to start moving in this direction.
So for me, my staple seasoning that I would probably have in everything is, of course, salt and pepper. And I usually do pink Himalayan salt. So I do pink Himalayan salt, smoked paprika. Yes, that is the holy grail. Smoked paprika, garlic powder, and onion powder. Those are like the basic things to get started with. If you want to start to get like funky with it, you can add some curry, some allspice, all that stuff. But the main ones is black pepper, pink Himalayan sea salt, smoked paprika, garlic, and your onion powder. Those are my cores.
Yes, ditto. All of like that's how you start. That's actually that get your house smelling good kit right there. When you start cooking and everyone comes like, what you cooking? It smells so good. I'm like, it's just garlic and onions at this point. Like I am still trying to figure it out, right? The smoked paprika was a life changer for me too. And if you don't know what paprika is, it's basically a bell pepper that's dried and grounded. And so smoked, that just means that it's, you know, it was grilled or charred before, and then it has that smoky flavor from bacon. So that's why I really love that spice. I also use a lot of cumin in my food because a lot of Latin, Latin American foods, Cuba, like all of this, Puerto Rico, they use a lot of cumin. Indian food also uses a lot of cumin. So that's the main one. I got the Costco size of cumin. That's how much I use of cumin. And then oregano also. Those are 2 of the ones that I love because it brings out these deep flavors into like your mushrooms or your cauliflower or any, it just brings out this next level because you want all the spots in your tongue. Your tongue has like five sections where you could taste bitter, sweet, salty, and you want like that perfect bite, that food that makes you like, ooh, that was good. It's because it's like activating all those, like every single like taste bud is like, woo, awake. So we want that kind of food. We want those kinds of spices. So that's what I use in my kitchen too. Lots. Oh, and cayenne pepper. But well, cayenne pepper is because I really like spicy food, but that's the like for a lot of the recipes I actually use a Peruvian spice because that's where I'm from. I was born and raised in Peru, so I use a lot of Peruvian stuff in my cooking. But if I have to like make it a little different, and then cayenne pepper, I need that spice in there. I otherwise it's a little too bland. I need that taste bud that likes spicy to light up too.
I feel that. And then do you have a recommendation of where we could go to get these spices or like your favorite spot to go shopping? And sometimes it can be hard to find different ingredients depending on where you are.
Right. So I love going to your neighborhood bodega, like your little market, like the Indian market. They're gonna have all the best spices. And when I go in there, they are so friendly because they're like, this woman must be lost. Like, what are you doing here? So they actually come and help me. I'm like, I just need this, and I need to make a curry. And they just give me all the information for free. So go in the store, and like explore, see if there's something in that you want to try. Tell them what you're cooking. Maybe they have a recommendation. So when you go to like the Japanese or whatever stores in your area, go and see if there's some spices that maybe you want to spice up your if you eat chicken, maybe spice up your chicken in a different spice. You never know, you'd love it, right? Or your mushrooms or your cauliflower.
Yeah, and even I definitely piggyback off of the Indian market is the truth. Okay, I agree with that. You can find everything there, and they are very friendly. If you do want to just keep it simple, you can go to Walmart, like the seasonings that I mentioned, like salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, oregano, all of that. You can find that at your local Walmart, even if you wanted to do that. If you want to go to, I call it Whole Paycheck. If you want to go to Whole Foods, you can do that too. If you want to go to Whole Paycheck, do whatever floats your boat. If you're more eco-friendly, go to Walmart. But they're there.
I would even suggest Trader Joe's. I'm a huge Trader Joe fan. And for those who are trying to stay away from a lot of salt, they have my all-time favorite blend. These are what I would consider my mother's spices. If my child were to come into my kitchen and want to fix something for mommy, he don't need to get into all of this. He don't need to touch all of the things. No. These mother spices stay on my bottom rack. This is what I would suggest. Umami. This umami spice here, and I think Target has their version of it. Walmart has a version of it, but umami is great because you get a little bit of sweet, a little bit of all of the things. And so it's got mushroom powder. It's all of the mushroom yumminess. It's got black pepper, red pepper, dried thyme. It's got some of everything in it, but this is my go-to all-purpose seasoning, And so for those who are new to the kitchen or just want to kind of explore, using vegetables and herbs to really spice your food is just really great. But this is my go-to favorite. Also, this is another favorite. It's super simple. It's got onions and garlic and lemon juice and dried spinach. This right here, the Green Goddess, amazing. The smoked paprika that Carmen was talking about, and this is $1.99 at Trader Joe's, and this lasts me for a while, But then also they've got black garlic, which is tasty for those who want to flavor your oils a bit. I use grapeseed oil as my staple in the house, and so definitely black garlic, and then I'm a huge onion powder person. And so I can use all of these spices all of the time for really some of everything. And then we can add more fun and flavor by using certain sauces. Like I keep sweet chili sauce in the house. I keep coconut amino in the house. And those, and a little bit of like a golden like barbecue sauce, and like just dash your food with a little bit of those from time to time to change up the flavor profile is helpful. But it also keeps things very simple yet flavorful, which I think there was a comment about that, or maybe that was one of the questions, like we don't want to sacrifice the flavors when we are wanting to be more plant forward. I don't like necessarily using the word vegan because that is a very trendy like buzzword that comes with its own set of unhealthy properties in it. If you look at what some vegan foods are, it's like you might as well just go ahead and eat the cow. Like, because for everything that they went through to make that thing vegan, that is far more processed than that piece of chicken. I promise you it is. You know, and so when you think about being more plant forward, you're thinking like, how can I include more fruits and more vegetables and more plants into my eating lifestyle? Not how can I be more vegan? Because there are unhealthy vegans, because again, a lot of that food is super processed. And so the goal isn't to be vegan or not, it's to be more plant forward and to really pay attention to what is my body telling me that it needs. After vacation, my body was like, girl, if you don't give me a piece of fruit and a vegetable, we're going to crash on you. We're going to crash. We're going to crash, you know? And so our bodies are communicating to us often exactly what it needs. And so if I'm knowing that, I'm craving something sweet, well, I don't have to go to the Butterfinger. I can actually lean into the piece of fruit, you know? And so sometimes when our bodies are communicating things, like we have Google at our fingers. If you know that you're having a certain craving, ooh, I just want something salty. See, hey, how can I substitute for this saltiness with something that's actually really healthy and it's not going to make my cholesterol like spike because it's just too salty, you know? And so I would definitely add to the conversation, like slow down and think about how you prepare your body to receive fuel. When I think about how we plan for trips and we plan for, you know, meetings and all these things, we should not be last minute when it comes to planning for how our bodies will be fueled for the day or for the week or for the month. It shouldn't be an afterthought. You know, we put good time and money into trips. At least I do. And so I'm like, listen, if I can plan a trip months in advance, then I can think about, hey, how can I plan what I'm going to eat at least a week in advance or a few days in advance? And for those of us who like grab and go options, then hey, how can I have some grab and go options? I know I'm gonna want something sweet all the time. If I don't have a mandarin or a nectarine or a banana beside me, I might go grab that Snicker that's right at the convenience store, right in the front, you know? And so slow down and give yourself the time and attention that you deserve now while you in your right mind and have the movement of your limbs, or we're going to end up paying for it later in life when we don't have the movement of our limbs and when we are forced to slow down and take care of ourselves. And so slow down, y'all. You got time. We can make time. All right. So these amazing chefs have some demos to provide us with for tonight. Chef Noel, what are you making over there for us?
I am going to make chickpea tuna, something that is super simple, super quick, super easy. You can turn it into a sandwich. You can eat it with crackers. If you want to make it into like a lettuce wrap, you can do that too. Or you can eat it plain, however you want to do it. So it's just something very simple. The ingredients are celery, chickpeas, shredded nori sheets, onions, lemon, avocado, and some tomato and a little onion and vegan eggs, and then you have your seasonings and Ezekiel bread. Super simple.
Chef Carmen, what will you be making for us tonight?
Well, I wanted to show everyone that it's something that every woman always craves and that you can have it guilt-free.
What is it?
Chocolate, my darling. Chocolate. I'm about to make you some chocolates here because you don't have to give it up. A lot of the problems I came across in my life or my mental health was because I was giving up all the things that I love because I was told that they weren't good for me. When in fact, there was 1 or 2 ingredients maybe in that were not good for me, and the rest were good for me. Have you not heard chocolate is antioxidant, right?
It
It's
is.
good for you. It really is good for you. So we're gonna make chocolate without the whey, without the sugar, and
That's
we're gonna put lots of little toppings in there.
Ooh, I am here
That's
for it.
beautiful.
Well,
That's
listen,
right on time too. I'm actually on my monthly cycle right now, so I'm craving chocolate. So that is right on time.
this is going to be perfect. Well, Chef Noel, I am going to let you go ahead and go first since you've got something nice and savory for us. And then we will end with something nice and sweet with Chef Carmen.
But
And
we're all in line. You got like, you know, regular food, you got dessert, you got some, like you said, savory and sweet, all alignment. I love this. This is beautiful.
And you all can go ahead and continue to add your comments and questions in the chat. We are paying attention. Yes, dark chocolate is good for you, not milk chocolate. And then we have Bonita who said that she makes her own dark chocolate almond candy. Listen, y'all are in there cooking. Y'all know a thing or two. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight Chef Noel. And
Okay.
we're going to get into it.
All right. Well, hello, guys. So today I will be using my food processor. If you don't have one, that's okay. Because even if you put this into a bowl and use a potato masher or a fork, you can do that as well too. But I'm going to use my food processor. So like I said, I have chickpeas that I'm going to use. So this is 1 can of chickpeas. And of course, I rinsed them and dried them out a little bit. So I'm going to add them to my food processor. This is so easy. So like we mentioned before, a part of boosting your mood is making things simple and not being stressed out about it. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my celery. And also chickpeas are high in fiber as well too. So, you know, if you have issues with maybe digestive issues or going to the restroom or energy, chickpeas are really great for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my nori. So this is going to give it that nice, kind of like seafood-ish flavor, seaweed. So basically this is just seaweed, just ground up there. And then I'm going to add my red onions. I love red onions. You could do regular yellow onions, sweet onions if you like, but I like red. Those are my favorite. And then I'm going to squeeze some lemon in here. See how simple this is? I'm almost done. Like, I'm letting the food processor work for me because I don't like to be stressed out and worrying about food and how long it's going to take to cook it. So I'm going to add my lemon in here. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I'm going to add some black pepper. And however you want to do this, however much seasoning you want to add, I usually say until the ancestors whisper into my ear and say that is enough, my child, then I stop. So I'm still trying to learn to work with measurements, but I usually just kind of freehand it. But I'm going to go ahead and add my pink Himalayan sea salt. Another trick with the pink Himalayan sea salt that I like to do is I like to take a pinch of it and put it in my water because it kind of helps with extra hydration as well too when you're drinking it. I add my salt there, my garlic powder, and my smoked paprika. And another thing, I like to eat a lot with color. I like for my dishes to be colorful. That is a huge thing for me. That's how I know I'm in the right place when my food has good color into it. So I'm going to add a little bit of Vegenaise. I'm using Follow Your Heart. But you can also find this at Walmart, or I think Trader Joe's has a vegan mayo as well too, or a whole paycheck. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of that, my veganase. And then because I like a little extra bite to my vegan tuna, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow mustard. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this puppy up because guess what? We're pretty much done. So just going to align this here. And then we're going to go ahead and toast that. And then we still like to keep it a little chunky. We don't want it too mushy. I'm gonna open that up. And then of course you gotta taste your food as you go to make sure that everything is perfectly fine. I'm gonna taste it a little bit. Okay, this is okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's perfect first time, but it kind of is. I'm sorry, but it's amazing. It's like I need to add a little bit of this, but it's perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this on a piece of bread. And like I said, I'm using Ezekiel bread. So it is flourless, either it's sprouted bread. So if you have a gluten allergy or anything like that, or you're just really trying to be more mindful of what you're putting into your body because you want to try to stay on a whole plant-based journey, Ezekiel bread is a jam. That's what I like to put. So look at that, you guys. Can you see that? Isn't that so pretty? All of that, just like I said, super easy, super simple. And you could put this in your Tupperware, put it in the refrigerator. You can snack on it later. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also add some spinach on here because dark leafy greens are really good as a mood booster as well too. And it's high in antioxidants. It's gonna help us feel good and have energy. I'm gonna go ahead and add a tomato on here. And because I love, love, love avocado, avocado is bae. I will put avocado on any and everything. And avocado is also healthy and healthy fat. So a lot of people talk about fat is bad, but you have foods like avocado, almonds, walnuts. Those are all good fats that we need in our diet because that helps us with healthy brain function. That helps us operate better. That helps us with our mood. That helps us with focus, especially if you have at work or, long day, you got children. You want to be able to enjoy yourself. So we have our sandwich here. I'm going to go ahead and, well, before I do that, I'm going to let you guys see what that looks like before I put the top on there. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and close it up. And because I'm a little fancy, because, sometimes we eat with our eyes and when we feel a little fancy, we also feel a little better too. So I'm going to cut it diagonally because I feel like if you cut it vertically, it's not as fancy. So I'm a diagonal cutter. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and place this on my plate. And voila, we are done. Something simple, something easy to make. I don't know if you guys can see that okay. Maybe I'll come to this camera up here. This may be a little bit better. But yeah, so you have a chickpea tuna sandwich. And I don't know, I think that took us less than 5 minutes, right? I don't know if that even took that long.
It looks good. It didn't take long at all. You know what? We
No.
do need these recipes. Miss Richard, recipe, please. We will have to get these
Absolutely.
and send this out to everyone so that y'all can make this at home. Absolutely. Listen, Chef Noel, they want and need this recipe. Okay.
I got you. And you saw how fast and quick and easy that was. I mean, the food processor did all your work.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yes, no problem. I can definitely get that to you guys.
Yep. Are there any questions for Chef Noel about this dish, about modifications or substitutions? that you all might want to try? It'll take longer if you chop up the veggies, but it looks great. No food processor. Will a Vitamix do?
Oh, absolutely. I have a Vitamix, and the Vitamix is when you just use the pulse motion instead of the full blend, it's the same way as using a food processor. Absolutely. The Vitamix would work.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chef Noel. We will bring you up again at the end. We've got, listen, y'all, that was something very awesome and savory. Yes, so Miss, is it Keela Brew? I believe this entire session has been recorded, and so you will definitely be able to receive the recording of this once Zoom makes it available for us. Yep, so you will have it. What we're going to do before we bring up Chef Carmen, we have literally a 2-minute survey that we are going to drop in the link right now. And if y'all can please so kindly complete this survey, that way Los Angeles County and their Take Action team can get more feedback and information about how these experiences and how these webinars and sessions have been going, so that they can understand our need and desire for more mental health sessions and more sessions that allow us to gather in community about our health and well-being. And so I just dropped that link in the chat. If you can, please just take 2 minutes to complete that, and then we will bring Chef Carmen up, who will show us how to make chocolate, which I'm so excited about. I feel like I've seen you do this before, but it's always very refreshing to see it again, to remind myself that I can do this, you know, and I can eat this as often as I want because this is the healthy kind.
Exactly. I think that's what it is. Like we have this relationship with chocolate that's not so good. We feel like, and then when you do finally get one, you like eat the whole bag and then you eat the whole, like more and more and more. So why not just say yes to your craving the first time, and then you actually save all that mental health and
Yeah.
all the energy of saying no to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So just eat what you like, eat what your body wants, eat what your body craves, just switching up a couple of ingredients. Dark chocolate in the stores is the best one that you can probably find. The higher like level of cacao, the better, but it will still have sugar, right? And if you're still trying to stay away from that, then they'll still have sugar. So what I did, and I add protein powder to my chocolate. So then it actually takes a little more milky. My protein powder though is vegan and gluten free and all that, but it'll still have that texture and that flavor. And I'm actually putting some good, not just chocolate, but chocolate that is good for you, right? So we're gonna get started really quickly with, listen, every great chef that I know does not measure their food. Just like Chef, I'm just gonna go by my, I just pour some coconut oil in here, and you want the coconut oil to be melted. So coconut oil is solid when it's below 70 degrees and liquid when it's above. Yes, Charity.
Just one moment. I'm getting a couple of errors with folks from the link.
All right. We'll
So I'm
wait.
in the chat again. Is everyone able to access the survey and begin taking it, or are several of you still getting that you've completed the link? You've completed the survey already. I see a thumbs up, but I don't know what that means. I've completed.
I'm actually able to get the survey. I was completed it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Michelle. Okay, so some folks are able to complete it. Thank you so much. All right. Perfect. For anyone else who is getting the error, it gets finicky sometimes and weird. I won't sweat it. Thank you for trying anyway. I appreciate that. And for those of you who were able to complete it, very awesome. Thank you so much. Now we will continue with our regularly scheduled program and Chef Carmen here.
I'm here. I'm still here. So we've got coconut oil, and coconut oil, like I was saying, it melts above 70 degrees. That's why if you have a jar at home and in summer, you're like, what is this? What did I buy? And then in the winter, it's like this paste. It looks like this. When it's not melted, it just looks like a white paste. So, but I melt it because it's easier to pour into the molds and it's easier to mix in with everything else. So if you want to use the stove, use the stove. If you want to use the microwave, that's fine too. Just melt some coconut oil and then add your cocoa powder. So as dark as you like your chocolate, I put about half a cup in there. And then I just mixing it, and I'm just using this whisk right here. No fancy things for me today. Although I do love my fancy tools, but this is just such a simple recipe. You're just gonna whisk it until there's no more, until it's super smooth. And then the other thing that I said I add was my protein powder, because my protein powder already has a little sweetener in it. So, but we can also add, and I actually add the vanilla, just because it gives it that extra layer of flavor. So, but if you really don't want it too dark, then you can also use agave. And agave is a low glycemic sweetener, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar. And then that's it. This is it. This is a chocolate, basically the melted chocolate that we're gonna put in the molds, and we're gonna put them in the fridge or the freezer to make it faster. If you don't have a mold for chocolate, you can just use an ice cube tray, or what I did today, because I got a family that is waiting for this chocolate. Oh, I blew up. But I have all these little paper cups, and I just put them into this little mini muffin tin. And so then we're gonna do that. But you can just do the chocolate on its own, or you can actually put some other ingredients in there. Like for today, I was gonna use some walnuts, because walnuts are really good for your brain health. They actually look like a little brain. So it goes straight there. And then blueberries are also good for your mental health. So I have some dried blueberries here. Fresh would be also really, really good. And then the other thing that I was going to add is over here is cocoa nibs, because cocoa nibs will give it that crunch. So and then I'm going to make a couple of other ones too. But if you just put, for example, a walnut or two into the mold here, just drop something. Okay.
We have a question, Chef Carmen.
Yes.
Could you put that on granola, or would it need something else?
Can you put it on granola?
The chocolate, right, Ms. Davis?
You can put it on ice cream. This is basically a magic shell that we just made. You know that shell that you squeeze out of the bottle and it gets hard really quickly? That, because coconut is solid when it's below 70, then you put it in the fridge and it's gonna solidify. And I'll show you, if we have time at the end, how it will come out. So you put your toppings, whatever toppings you want, into these little into the molds. And like I said, I'm putting some one of them is going to have walnut, one of them is going to have coconut. And then that way, when people grab it from your tray, you're like, listen, you get what you get, because that's you just want to have. Oh, there's also, I had peanuts, I had all these other kinds of toppings, so then you can, so that even in your chocolate you don't get bored, because you want to have that. You want to eat the chocolate, but sometimes when you eat the same one over and over. Now, like I said, this one I added my protein powder in there because it's just smart. I want to have guilt-free chocolate that has benefits too. So I just went ahead and put in the mold. Sorry, I missed that. And of course, if you just want just the pure chocolate, right? Just a dark one right there. So I'm going to put this in the freezer for a second. And then what questions can I answer today while we wait for this to set? Any questions?
Can you give us a glimpse into a day of eating with Chef Carmen? I want to hear some of the food groups when you eat certain things. So I think I saw a meme that was like, someone said, it's too early to be eating that. And the response was, so when does my stomach open? Like, um, however, I do know that eating fruits and vegetables at certain times of the day does impact our body differently. I'm not eating sugar of any kind necessarily before I go to sleep because I want to go to sleep, versus if I eat a piece of fruit in the morning, that feels good. And so, can you talk to us about some of the things that you eat throughout the day, and why you choose to eat it at that time of the day versus perhaps a different time of the day?
Well, lots of things there to cover, but I grew up in Peru, like I mentioned, and we don't have a big dinner over there. We have a small lunch-like meal. The big dinner is at 2 p.m. and it's called almuerzo. It's like a big lunch, like your dinner here, because we have more time to burn that energy from that food that we consume, right? So a lot of people eat a big dinner and then they try to go to sleep, but your body's still trying to digest it. And now, if you are sleepy after eating that meal, anyone here get sleepy at 2 p.m.? As you're probably eating something at lunch that is taking energy away from your body, because by definition, food gives you energy, right? So like check the labels, check what you're eating. It really is very important and very interesting to learn like what your intolerances are. A day for me starts with a protein shake every single day. Because I know that the first thing in my body is gonna have to be something good. Actually, no, my bad. Before that, I have I have a green juice that has probiotics in it. So you can have something to drink. If you put some like ginger, if you can blend some ginger, some turmeric, some of those superfoods into a little shot with probiotics in it, that would be the best thing that you can have in your body. And the first thing in your body. Then I do protein just because your body needs protein to run. And I use a vegan protein because, or you can have eggs if you like, but you need that protein, 20 grams minimum. If you're working out, do a little more. Though I sound like your trainer.
So someone asked, like, is there a substitute for protein powder?
Yes, you can add almonds, you can add any of the ingredients that you can have that are protein based, right? So my protein is made of chickpeas. So then if I don't want to use a powder, you just use a quarter cup of chickpeas or whatever, and then of course you'd add like your spinach, your kale, like, because that has fiber in it, your fruits, strawberries, berries, those gives you antioxidants. I just like the protein powder because it's much more convenient. And because I am not against supplements, you know why? Because the food over the years, the soil has been stripped so much that an apple today is not an apple 20 years ago. So I think our bodies actually need these supplements, these vitamins that our food is now lacking because our ecosystem or our soil doesn't have it in there anymore. If it's not in there, it's not going to go in the food, right? So I really do like my supplements in the morning to get me going. Then I do, and it's also simple. Ladies, we talked about that mental health. Get up, have a protein shake with fruit, and I am good. I'm good. If you like coffee, grab a vanilla protein and just put your coffee in there and you have a coffee, Starbucks shake, whatever, right? So you have all these tools. And for lunch, it's something that like whatever you're craving. A lot of people like salads, makes them feel light and healthy. I don't eat that many salads. I like my food. I like my rice. So it really depends on where you are. A lot of my lunches are the leftovers from dinner before. And I label them and I put them in the fridge. My husband also knows to grab his lunch. And and you take it and you go, and it's like a little bit of a bigger meal. And then for dinner, we have a lighter meal that is also, gluten-free, soy-free. We're still in transition from, we still, like you said, eat when my kids eat sometimes chicken, steak, like whatever it is that the protein that you want for your family. Like I usually just grab like the cauliflower and the mushrooms and I eat all of them, but they actually fight me for it too sometimes. So it just depends on culturally. For me, Peruvian food is the go-to, right? So I usually have a Peruvian food dinner. I make it with lots of substitutions. There's a dish that's my favorite dish, and the reason why I switched over to cooking, because I couldn't eat it. It's potatoes with this cheesy sauce on top. It's called papa a la huancaína. So if you go to a Peruvian restaurant, order that. But it's made with all the things I can't eat. So I figured out a recipe to make it with just as creamy, just as yummy, with all the flavors, with all the textures. And I make it and I eat that quite often, actually, because I just love it so much, and I stayed away from it for so long. And the chocolate is probably ready, so hold on. Yeah, so this is, I'm gonna grab the plain one so y'all can see, but what was that? All that talking, right? But here's my chocolate. It's hard. It's good. If you want to put a layer of almond butter on top, put it back in the freezer, and then put another layer of chocolate on top. And what does that make, right? It makes a perfect treat for after dinner. And again, just like Chef Noah, it's made in 5 minutes. So when my kids are like, what's for dessert? I'm like, hold on, let me get the coconut oil, So that's because chocolate is so good and so good for you when you eat it without all the stuff that's not good for you. Any other questions, or I'm gonna eat this one. I want to eat the coconut one.
Michelle said that she started making vegan protein shakes with frozen strawberries and blueberries to help with her running and training. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions?
I'm going to bring back Rain and Savannah and Chef Noel.
If you do a happy dance, it's good.
Yeah.
If you do a happy dance while you're eating, you know it's good.
The good side.
Just when I need it.
We're like,
Chocolate.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Listen, I took all of those notes. I'm making the chocolate for sure. That is.
Yes.
Me too. I always wish I could try it. I'm like, that looks so good.
I know. I'm about to make some.
It's simple. You probably have all the ingredients at home. And like Charity was saying earlier, like you don't have to feel guilty about eating the second one. Just want the nuts in it.
Oh my gosh, yum. Looks so amazing. I'm hungry.
Me too. Like all this food is perfect.
We have a question that says they're for sweet, but do you guys have any recommendations for a salty snack?
For me, I definitely like to do my kale chips. If you have an air fryer, you can you can do it in the air fryer, or you can do them in your oven. You can dehydrate them in your oven as well too. What I normally do is, excuse me, I take my kale leaves, I massage it, and sometimes I'm a little fancy, so I might use a little truffle oil. You don't have to use truffle oil. You can use grape oil or avocado oil or coconut oil. But if I really want that nice husky feel to it, I might add a little truffle oil to it, and then I'll season it with a little garlic powder, a little sea salt, and a little nutritional yeast. And then I'll like mix it, and then a little smoked paprika as well too. And then I'll put it into my air fryer. Wow, air dryer. I guess it dries at the same time. Put it into my air fryer, and that is a nice, savory, salty treat for me that I love to do.
For me, if you're not allergic and if it doesn't cause you any inflammation, peanuts is a really good one, or almonds, like salty stuff, right? Salty nuts, but you have to know that you're not intolerant to it. And the way your body talks to you when it's intolerant to something, it usually gives you gas or stomach cramping. That's usually the first sign that something is not for you. The other thing that I love and my kids love and I can never make enough of is hummus. Not the kind that you get at the store though. If you're in a hurry, then yes, get that one. If you don't have time. But if you can make it at home, it is such a different flavor when you make it right from the chickpeas. And you can put your smoked paprika in there. You can put lots of garlic in there. And instead of chips, you grab the carrots, but you're going to cut them diagonal because that's how you get more hummus on that carrot. You don't want a tiny little circle. That's not going to do it. Cut it diagonal into almost like spoons. So you just spoon the hummus right in there. And it also gives you lots of protein. That's my go-to. Oh, cucumbers. So if you like the cucumbers, you can do the cucumbers or the diagonal carrots. And the last one that is my absolute go-to is olives. My husband's not a fan of olives, but one olive, take that salty, right? That craving is gone with 3 olives, I promise.
Yeah, olives is bae. I love olives. I went to grab this really quick because if you're in the car on a car trip or something like that and something quick, these are here. So they're sea salt and vinegar pistachios. So this right here definitely hits a salt craving really quickly. It doesn't take a lot to do it. And the ingredients are pistachios, sunflower oil, sea salt, vinegar, and citric acid, stuff that we can pronounce. Super simple ingredients. But this is my PMS craving thing. So if you pair this with Chef Carmen's chocolate, man, that probably is just alchemy.
So listen, we have requests we need the hummus recipe, the chocolate recipe, as well as the chickpea recipe to send to the folks, okay? They definitely want them. We also have a question. I know dark chocolate is better, but I like milk chocolate. Can I have milk chocolate? If yes, please place that in the chat. What?
If you like milk chocolate, then what I suggest you adding here is a little bit of cashew creamer or almond milk, because I love I'm right there with you. I love chocolate, but the way and the sugar in that chocolate cause so many problems, and they make those products with knowing that they're addicted to us with specific additions so that we can't get enough of it, right? So if you can make your own, you beat the system, you go around it, you get it in here, you just put the milk in there. This is the mixture, and it's gonna kind of create that same texture. So try the chocolate. I'll send the recipe for sure. And again, this also, if you have ice cream, you get a scoop of whatever ice cream you want. Most of the time, I make my own as well. I was gonna make some, but I forgot. I was gonna make some earlier to show you, but it's basically you just blend the fruit, even if it's a sorbet, where you just blend the fruit and put it back in the freezer. Okay, you bring it out, you put it in a dish, and then you just pour this over it. It is so good. I promise you, it's so good. You won't miss because the textures, as long as the texture and flavors are there, you were not gonna miss the other one and all the sugar with all that stuff. That's not good for you. Sunflower seeds they make you earn them. I like them. Now you gotta peel it.
Or crack them in your mouth.
Yes.
I know, when I was
It's a
a kid,
workout.
I used to put the sunflower seeds in there and crack it in my mouth and then spit out the shell and eat it that way. So yeah, you definitely have to work for it. But I honestly enjoyed eating sunflower seeds. One of my favorites. And it's also a healthy fat as well too. Lots of good healthy fats in sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds have this that's also very good for your brain. I forget the name of the chemical, but it's very good for your brain, the seeds. The oil, I'm a little bit like not a fan because it can, again, it's how processed things are. But if you have to use it just for a little for a dressing, that works out, right? Or if you're kind of tossing it around with some nuts, that's also fine. It's like the problem is when it's like things are fried in it or they have too much of it in there. So I love sunflower seeds. And if you follow me, I love sunflowers in general.
Exactly. Okay. It is part of, I believe it's even a part of your logo, a beautiful sunflower.
It is.
Oh, I love that. Sunflowers are my favorite flower as well, too.
Oh, they bring joy, don't they?
They do. In order for them to bloom, they have to face the light, so there's a story in that, right? Like they are always facing towards the sun. And that just reminds me to always face towards the sun. Sunflowers are my favorite. I love that. Amazing.
And the reason why I chose the sunflower too is because, and this is not scientifically true, it's an urban legend, but sunflowers do follow the sun. But what happens on a gloomy day, by the way, we had 25 gloomy days in May. If you're feeling it, it's because 25 out of 31 were gloomy. But what happens on a gloomy day with sunflowers, so you find the sunflowers in your life because what happens with sunflowers is they turn to each other to get light from each other. So, and I think that this is a great way to almost end the call because this is a great community and you're turning to each other to share knowledge and to bring light. So thank you guys.
Come on, Chef Carmen. Yes.
Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. And I didn't know that. So that was something new I learned tonight. Well, listen, this has been incredible. It's been great having both Chef Carmen and Chef Noel here with us. And it's been great having each of you here in community with us as we discuss food and mood. We will have more of these conversations. Miss Davis has also put a book in the chat. She said it's a great book to read on how the food giants work to profit at our demise. So the book is Salt, Sugar, Fat. So definitely take a look at the chat so you can see that book. And definitely thank you all for adding to this conversation. Your energy and your presence was definitely much, much, much appreciated. We will be sure to send you these recipes. Tomorrow, Rain will send you the follow-up email, and we'll provide a list of foods that will help you boost your mood. And we'll also provide a list of foods that you should avoid that do not help your mental and physical health. So be sure to look out for that. We'll also have more amazing sessions coming up for you in the summer. Coming up immediately, we have Bring a Brother to Breakfast. That is coming up this Friday. We will put the link in the chat to our website where you can go RSVP for our upcoming events. And so Bring a Brother to Breakfast is happening this Friday, June 9th. And so you'll be able to RSVP for that. We will also be at the KJLH Black Women's Health Expo. That'll be at the Long Beach Convention Center on Saturday. We'll be doing a Kitchen Diva session there with Chef Angie. We'll be hitting the stage at 10:15. Also coming up the following weeks, 2 weeks from now, I believe, we have Grown and Sexy. Miss Stephanie Haynes and Kim lead that conversation, and they'll be exploring men's health, providing you with tips and tools on how you can support your partners, because the men in our communities matter a great deal, and we want to make sure that they are healthy and whole. And then also coming up a month from now or 2 months from now is our Reproductive Justice Conference. And so I will put the event link in the chat so that you all can RSVP for all of those upcoming events and stay in community with us, as well as support us as we continue to support you all on your health and wellness journeys. Chef Carmen and Chef Noel, are there any final words that you would like to leave with our community?
I guess my final words would just be, take all of the light that you guys took from this and spread it on to everyone else so we can stay on this nice, positive, beautiful train of well-being and just sharing the love with others as well too. And it was a pleasure working with you today, Chef Carmen. I've learned so much from you, and you're amazing. Your beautiful energy is just, I love it. So kudos to you. Love working with you, and be well, you guys.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much, Chef. Oh my goodness, same here. I want you all to know we didn't even plan like all of the alignment was there. We didn't plan who was gonna do what, who was gonna say what. It really was all there. So it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you for all the comments, all the questions. You're the ones who makes us keep going. And if you are, I'm gonna follow you on Instagram, Chef. So can you
Same.
check my Instagram? Yeah, mine is at Healthy Con Gusto. I just got a couple of requests on my personal one. There's nothing there you want to see. What you want to see is on a Healthy Con Gusto. I have the recipes there too. Yeah, I leave you with that and just keep on being a sunflower for somebody else. Share the knowledge.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Rain, Savannah, final words before we close out this amazing experience.
Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, thank you so much.
Girl.
This was really, really amazing. I'm about to make these recipes next week. I always meal prep at the top of the week, so I'm about to have chocolate and chickpea tuna this week.
Same. I was like, I'm about to make all this stuff and that kale. I love some nutritional yeast. I was like, this sounds good. Just glad that everyone could be here together, and it was magical as always. And yeah, I'm ready to eat some food. I'm gonna eat lots of food.
Mhm. Thank you all so much. And to those who was here with us for the first time, thank y'all for being with us. To all of those who contributed in the chat, Miss Davis, I see Michelle, Bonita, Jessica, thank you all so much for continuing the conversation, for sharing your wealth of knowledge and insight. It brings so much to our community and helps us all to grow. And so thank you for your presence, your insight, and your knowledge that you willingly shared with us. It definitely added to the experience. Thank y'all for being with us. And for those who've been with us for the last 5 weeks, wow, this mental health series has come to an end. And we are grateful. If you attended 1 session, 2, 3, all of them, listen, we appreciate you for trusting us to come alongside you on your health and wellness journey. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your transparency and for your willingness to show up for yourself. I think that's a huge part of being healthy from the inside out, is you just making a conscious decision to show up and fight for your life every single day, because you're here through because of love and with great intention. We have need of you as a human race. And so thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself, for being in community with Black Women for Wellness. We love you. We appreciate you. We see you. You matter. And we cannot wait to see you again at the next event. Y'all have an incredible night, and we will see y'all soon. Bye.
Tell me something good. Tell me that you love me, yeah. Tell me something good. Oh, baby, 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 yeah. Tell me that you like it, yeah. Tell
so tired.
I bet.
I'm so tired. Wow. I don't know how grown folks be saying up till 10 o'clock. That is not my thing. I am like, the lights went down. Perfect. It's dark outside. Time to
Like
wow.
for you.
Wow. But I can be up
Last
at 10.
one.
Wow. I thought tonight was so cool. I'm so glad that folks showed up,
Mhm. Bunch of people.
which is really, really awesome. Humans showed up. I'm always glad when that happens.
Mhm.
Sucks to plan events and nobody shows up.
Yeah. The scary part.
Right.
Oh, I just don't want to report back and say 5 people showed up. That's awful. Okay, great. Yeah, I think the night went well. Chef Carmen is a whole session all by herself. She's fucking fantastic. She just is. Yeah, I thought both of them were really, really awesome. Um, I think I think if I were to have the session again, I would bring on a Black psychologist who specializes in nutrition.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I think sometimes that's what's missing from the conversation. Like people don't know neurologically what happens to their brain and to their body when they eat certain things.
Mhm.
And I think that is an important part of the conversation to add for Black
Mhm.
folks, you
Mhm.
know, and coming from a Black person who understands our cultural background and the relevance that certain foods have with us,
Mhm.
still able to make different choices about how and what we eat. I think having that sort of conversation is really important. So I think we might circle back around to this in the fall before we dive into like the holidays, when folks really dive into some of those staples. Um, because again, I love always what both of them have to say, but neither one of them I think are certified to come from a psychologist standpoint.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, they come from nutrition and cooking, which is great. Um, but I want us to like dive a bit deeper into the conversation around food and mood.
Mhm.
And I think we can do that some of
Mhm.
the time. But I think this was like it scratches the surface well, you know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think so too.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was doing the workshop for the girls. A lot of them had a lot to say that I feel like a psychologist should have been there for. So I feel like that would definitely be a good follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We can make that happen. Even if we were we could explore how that information becomes distributed. It could be an Instagram live, it can be,
Mhm.
and there's different ways that we could,
Another cooking demo.
yeah, or
Maybe.
not even, it doesn't even have to be a cooking demo, because I think
Mhm.
folks would listen to someone just like speak about those nuances, because we
Mhm.
all often bring about, you know, well, this is what we typically eat in our family, and this is what my grandparents ate, and where do all those things come in? But then I want someone who could also help us pay attention to, well, what's actually happening in your body?
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, how is it performing? How are you sleeping at night? Why is it that when you are sad, you go to these sorts of food? Like to get into the psychology of food is a whole nother conversation as it pertains to nutrition and mental health, you know?
Mhm.
So, um, I think we can do that. We just have to locate the folks who can have
Person.
that kind of
Mhm.
conversation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I know someone who does nutrition, but she's sweet. Yeah, she's sweet.
Like, is that bad?
It's not bad, but it's just like sometimes, if they sweet as pie, it's like, oh.
He's like more like, come on,
Yeah,
y'all.
what's going
Get
on?
it together.
I need someone who's like more like Chef Carmen, who's like, this is what food is. I know you ate that, but that ain't food. Like, I need someone who's like, let me just tell you what this is about. So I can, I'll ask this person I'm thinking of because she's a nutritionist, but she's a psychologist as well. The other woman I know, here's the weird thing, is she is a psychologist and her practice is about helping folks with food related disorders. And she helps folks look at the correlation between food and mood all the time, like as a practice.
Hmm.
However, she struggles with it herself, which is like baffling to me. Like, wait a second, you do this on a regular, and this is like a main struggle for you. I'm so so it's whatever. The right person will come to us. Just keep your eyes and ears open because I do think Black folks can have a deeper conversation about it.
Mhm.
Um, just with the right person. Yeah.
Someone come up. Carmen might know somebody.
True. Maybe they know someone.
Yeah. I thought the other girl was, because she said that she had a psychology degree.
Oh,
So I thought that she was gonna. Yeah, she said that she was. She did social work though.
Yeah, and she speaks. So the thing is, she speaks with two groups often about nutrition and with like drawing that correlation between food and mood. However, I don't know why that wasn't hella apparent tonight.
She didn't really touch on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would have wanted, like, I need folks to see, like, hey, when you put this in your body, here's how it impacts and affects you.
Yeah.
So how can we be
Right.
more conscious about what we're eating, how we're eating it, all of those things. So it could be a matter of, just not being aware of the expectations of the conversation.
Mhm.
But I think it's more having someone who, as a psychologist, this is actually what you do,
Right.
because they both cook. That's what they do. And their nutrition knowledge is fantastic. But there's layers to why people eat the way they do. And I just think someone who has more of a mental health focus could dive into that conversation with ease and with gentleness. Then we will follow up with the chef who can show us how to make meals that complement what it is that they were talking about. I don't know. We'll explore more of it. But yeah, that's just my overarching sleepy thought. Shit, I'm still recording. I am losing it. Stop.